Alright guys, so welcome back to this video, and in this video we're going to be looking at how we create the report. Now reports can sometimes be a bit challenging because fields may fall off the report and you may have to adjust the report, but don't worry, we'll see how best we can pull them back on. Sometimes it's hard to see them, and that's the challenge most times in adjusting the report. Alright, so let's go. For the report, we're not going to be using any design view, but we're going to still go under the create tab, and we're going to go to the report wizard. There are different ways you can create a report. You can, based on the requirements for your report, you can open the create a report using data from several tables or tables and or queries, or you could have used a query to pull out the data, a regular select query to pull the data from the tables and then use it to create a report. No, we got a perfect example of a make table query that we could use to create the report, because the make table query actually has the data that we want to create our report. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the make table, the report table, because we had created a table with it. And I'm going to add all the fields, because these are all the fields we need. If you were going to do a report, let's go back. If you were going to do a report and you were selecting fields from different tables, you'd have selected the field and use a single arrow here to send the field over into the selected fields area. But because we want all of these fields, it doesn't make any sense for me to do it one by one. I'm just going to use the double arrow, which will send over everything. Then I click on next. After that, now I'm going to say, how do you want to do grouping? And I want to group by room type. All right. So I select room type and I click next. And then I go to the next here. It asks me how I want to do the sorting. I want to sort by last name, then by first name. And then for the summary options, we were told that we wanted totals for two things. I think it was one totals. Here it is. It says show totals for amount paid and balance due. So we're going to go back and click on summary options to get that. And we're going to, under the sum heading, check the box for amount paid and amount due. Click OK, then next. We want to select the orientation to be landscape, because we don't want we want to see how much we can fit on the paper. All right. I don't really change these much when it says stepped, because some of them take up a lot of space. I haven't used a blocked one in a while. So I'm going to try that. But you can use the step. That's the one I usually use, but I'm going to experiment today and use the blocked. Just trying to see how it looks. Probably takes up less space. I don't know. Let us see though what happens. So next. And then we're going to call the report. We'll give it a name. It's supposed to be called, let me see, ACL monthly report. So I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to paste it. Control V again. And then say finish. And we wait on the report to be generated. Okay, so here is our report. No, we usually just give the name of the report as the heading, but we're going to change this later on. So let me open the window a little bit. So right away, you can see that a lot of the fields are falling off the report. I'm not sure why Microsoft Access gives so much space in between the fields, but we're going to have to do something about that. So we're going to right click, and we can do this in either design view, or we can we can adjust it using the print layout. So I'm going to widen this area here, right? And it's for the persons who are novices, it's easier if you did it in the layout view. I think it is, let's see, right? what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over the first name field. So I click on first name. Now, when you use the left arrow, which is what I'm going to use, it makes it, it allows you to see how far the field, well, let me drag. When I drag like that, it may realign the heading, which I don't want it to do. So I'm also going to, so I'm going to click on first name, hold on the control key, and I'm going to click on the very first name. That way it will move the heading along with the names to the left. So I'm going to use the left arrow key. And when you're using the left arrow key, what I don't like is that it disappears on you. So just click up, do it a few times, then scroll back up to see how far it is, if it's far enough. And if you want it to go further, just continue and then scroll back up again and say, okay. So no, it's far enough for me. I'm fine with that. So I'm going to do gender next. So click on the heading and then click on the first one just to highlight the entire column. And then I'm going to use my left arrow. No, you can just do that again and just double check. I'm going to use the left arrow a few more times. I just 1, 2, 3 times, and then that's it. That should give me enough space, I think, for the other fields. Now here's the trick. We have two fields here, amount paid and amount due, and it's difficult to see what is happening because both of them are in each other's way. So let me see if I go to the design view, if I'm able to see a little bit better. Not quite. Let me go back to the view I had, which is the layout view. So I'm going to click this one to see what it is. And I'm going to move it. Oh, so that one is the balance. I'm going to undo what I just did. And I'm going to see if I can click on the other field. Now, if you can't click on the other field, what I would suggest you do is click back on the balance view and then just move it gently to the left, to the right, sorry, using the right arrow key. So it will expose the other one so that you can click on it. So now it has exposed the amount due. Now, if you are not sure, all right, let us move the heading first because it's going to require, so I'm holding down the left arrow key and it's going to require some amount of maneuvering to get out the figures. So I'm going to click on balance due. I'm going to bring that over. Now, one of the things you must realize or remember from your report table is that some of the balance due had zeros, and that's what you're going to use to know if you're pulling over the correct field under the correct heading with the data. So I'm going to just click first and remove as of the data, right? If you notice too, the hashtag is there. So it just simply means that the column is not wide enough. So we're going to click and widen the column. Now, these values obviously don't have any zeros. So we know definitely that this is not the balance due. So we're going to move this over and put it directly under the amount paid, right? So we know that it's the amount paid. Now, incidentally, the balance due is still not showing. What is showing here, guys, is the totals, right? So I'm going to bring over the total here, and I think this one might be for the amount paid, but I'm not sure yet. So let me see. Let me widen the column to see what's happening. It looks blank. There's another one here. It's just kind of hard to see. I think this one is a grand total. But the thing is, there is another box right here. It's just very difficult to click on. All right. On existing fields, I'm not seeing the balance due very well. So what I did a while ago was, let me show you. Let me undo that and show it to you. I can't see this balance due, right? Let me undo again. So this is the New Balance due that I just added. I'm going to delete it from here because I don't want it to show. So I can show you what I did. So I went back to the design tab and I click on the add existing fields, right? Because I can't see my balance due, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add it again. So I'm going to double click on it. It will put it at the front, which will make it easier for me to pull it over to where I want it. All right. So this is a balance due. I'm going to use my arrow key to push it over. But before I get to that point, I'm going to remove the old one. So this one, I'm going to right click and then select delete, right? And push that over. And it doesn't want to move. All right, so this report is giving quite a bit of trouble. I'm gonna use my hand to move it instead. It still won't move. All right, let's use the design view to do that. And hopefully we can see it a little bit better. All right, here it is. Here's the field. So I'm supposed to the four-way arrow, put our mouse over the edge, to the four-way arrow, drag and put it back. And it will not move. This is so strange. All right, so I'm going to widen it. So I have to trick it up a bit. And then we can. All right, so there it is. So I'm going to go back to the layout view, sorry. And here it has a balance due. So I'm going to undo what I did a while ago to see if we can, right? So it was here. What we could do is just simply widen it, click on it and widen it, and then adjust the width here. So it would actually show. No, I'm not sure why these totals are not showing. Oh, so apparently if I right click on them, they appear. Stranger things have happened. All right, so this is the total for the amount paid. No, this would have been the one for the balance. Let me see this one if it's the balance due or the grand total. All right, so this one is the one for the balance due. We had not removed it, so I'm going to just adjust it and bring it over here for this column. And here we have it. These are not showing any dollar signs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click, going to go to properties, and I'm going to set the format here to currency, right? I'm going to do the same thing for this total as well. Properties, format, currency, right? Close the property sheet. So let us look at the report view and see what happens. So now we have it in the report view. We have one last thing to do. We're going to go back to the design view this time, and we're going to put in the headings. So in order to do that, we have to create a space. So we're at the top, we have this gray area here. I'm going to put my mouse until I see the up and down arrow. I'm going to drag down just to create some space in the header. So we have two headings. Then what I'm going to do to make my life easy, there is one text box here. I'm going to click on it, right click on it and say copy, and I'm going to right click again and paste. That will give me two text box. All I'm going to do is to click on edge of one of them and separate the two. I'm also going to widen both of them to give me space. And what I'm going to do, instead of typing it over, I'm going to go back to the Word document with the question, going to highlight the first heading, going to copy it. I'm going to go back to the database, going to highlight ACL monthly report, and I'm going to Control V to paste, and I'm going to center this. So in the Home tab, I'm going to click on Center, and I'm going to do the same thing for the second one, except I'm going to paste the second heading. So I'm going to highlight here, right click, and copy again. go back to the database, highlight ACL monthly report in the second row, and I'm going to Control V to paste. And I'm going to center it as well. You can change the font style. So I'm going to show you change the font style by highlighting, just as you would do it in Microsoft Word. My computer is running a bit slow. So you can choose the font style that you want. Right, so I'm going to just use Bakersfield Old Face. And I can also change my font color. And I'm not going to do both of them, so just to show you one. I'm going to do the one. And I can change the font size. Just make sure it doesn't get too big, right? And that it doesn't fall off. So let me just do this one so that it keeps it consistent. Right, and I'm going to change the color as well. And well, all right, so this one was 26. All right, so those are my two headings, and pretty much my report is done. So let me go to report view, and here I have my report for the month of July. All right, guys. Now this, okay, I don't know why these figures keep disappearing, but this is your report, and hope the videos were useful to you. And if you're having any challenges, of course, you can link me up in WhatsApp.